All right. Am I audible enough? I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, sir.
Audible enough. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, we've been hearing in the news different different news trending here and there. And it's a time, like I told some people, it's a time in the cryptocurrency world where the whales will take advantage. A lot of guys will take advantage of the news. There's going to be fake news. There's going to be real news. But whatever it is, we need to stay ahead of time. Okay? So that brings me to the first topic of the day, the Bitcoin ETF. Now, the approvals are coming closer. There are dates, there are different times of, there are different dates being attached. But whatever it is, we are keeping our fingers crossed. But then we are not losing our guard, okay? Do not lose your guard. So first of all, what are Bitcoin ETFs, okay? So Bitcoin, the word ETFs, a lot of people have been asking, ETFs actually mean exchange traded funds, okay? Exchange traded funds. And what are exchange traded funds? Exchange traded funds are more like they help to track the value of a particular commodity. So when it comes to Bitcoin, it's going to track the value of Bitcoin and trade on traditional market exchanges rather than the cryptocurrency exchange that we know. So they allow investors to invest in Bitcoin without having to go through the hassle of using a cryptocurrency exchange, of course, like Binance, Bybit, and the likes. Okay. So now, what does this really mean? Okay. What does that really mean? Okay. Now, let me explain. So an ETF or exchange traded fund is a type of investment fund that is traded on stock exchanges. Yeah, I'm sure we all know the stock exchanges. We're familiar with traditional exchanges called stock exchanges, similar to individual stocks. Okay, so it can hold assets such as stocks, bonds, or commodities. Okay, so you see, we're expanding. Bitcoin is going into another phase. Okay, so it aims to track the performance of a specific index, right? So ETFs are popular because they offer diversification and are generally more liquid. Okay, they are more liquid than traditional mutual funds. So I don't know if we get that. So if we can put down our questions so we can ask them much more later. So in summary of everything I've said, a Bitcoin ETF provides a way for investors to gain exposure to the price of Bitcoin through traditional brokerage accounts and investment platforms, okay? While benefiting from the features of exchange traded funds. All right, I'm going to give examples. I'm going to give examples and we're going to understand how it works. I know a lot of people will be asking questions. We don't understand. How does these things work? A lot of people will not understand, okay? So let me break it down. All right, for the sake of the records, okay, for the sake of this recorded Zoom, I don't want it to be too expanded. So, for example, there are so many people who don't know how to trade Bitcoin. They don't know what Bitcoin is. Some think Bitcoin is a currency that is so volatile, so they are even scared of having a chunk of this asset. All right, a lot of people are having, oh, I don't know how to trade Bitcoin. I'm scared. I don't know how to hold it. Okay, so now we are going to another phase where it's not just Bitcoin. Let me give another example. You know Coca-Cola, you know Pepsi, you know Tesla, you know Facebook, you know, what else can I use? Then you know the iPhone, the Android phone, Samsung. All these are stocks, they're commodities. These are companies. These are companies that have sold their shares and they have gone public. So now you can buy a share of Apple, you can buy a share of Coca-Cola, you can buy a share of Pepsi, regardless of whether you like the product or not. So there are people who don't drink Coca-Cola. There are people who don't drink Pepsi. They tell you, oh, the sugar content is high. I don't take Pepsi. But then you love the future of Pepsi. You love the future of the Apple phone. There are guys who don't use Apple phones, but they know in the next 2-3 years, the Apple product is going to explode, or Tesla product is going to explode. So you get where I'm coming from. So you don't need to get into the exchange. Like you don't need to get into Binance before you can own Bitcoin anymore. So you're just going to own it the way you own the Apple shares, the Pepsi, and the Coca-Cola share. So let me drive straight to the point using this kind of stocks and commodities to explain the ETF. Okay, so I don't have an Apple phone. I don't have a Tesla. I don't have the physical Pepsi or Coke. Okay, so I'm necessarily not a fan. Or okay, so maybe I don't have $1,000 to buy the Apple products. I don't necessarily want to fill my house with Coca-Cola and Pepsi, but I know that these companies are good companies. So what do? I go to an asset manager who has the Apple share, the Pepsi share, the Coca-Cola share, and I bought some of these stocks. Okay, so when the company, that's when the Pepsi company or the Coca-Cola company makes a profit, the shares will go up, and all the investors like me will make money. So I can decide to sell my shares. Okay, so now I will do all this without necessarily owning the Apple product or the Pepsi product or the Coca-Cola product. Okay, I don't physically have them. I don't have them in my exchange. So I could sell my shares or part of my shares. Okay, so so that's how. So so it's the Bitcoin ETF. That's how it is. So for those who can't afford BTC, or those who don't really like Bitcoin, or can't bear the risk of having crypto, but they know that it's an asset with good profit potential. So all those asset managers, they have some Bitcoins and they are seeking the SEC approval to start selling BTC. So that's what they are doing. They are seeking the SEC approval so they can sell BTC stocks on their traditional stock exchange, so that people can buy Bitcoin ETF or the shares. So when the price of BTC goes up, the investors' shares will go up, and they can decide to sell and take some profits. So they do this without owning or storing BTC itself. I hope I'm clear on. I hope I'm kind of clear on this. All right. Now, so how do we how do we run with the bulls? Okay, the bulls are coming, we run with the bulls. So now we have an instrument called the Apollo bot. It's artificial intelligence used to trade and scale through these markets. So with Apollo bot, you don't just run with the bulls. You run with the bulls, and also you play with the bears. Okay, so when the bears come, you also dive in with the bears and you run with the bulls. So we have an advantage. We have Apollo bots that would help us to scale through these markets. So we'll be discussing how do we benefit using Apollo. Okay, so how do we use Apollo to the best of our knowledge? Okay, to the best of our knowledge, we could. All you need to do, download the bots. Okay. If you have someone who has invited you, you should have this. It looks like this. Okay, you have the exchange. Now, when you're trading with this bot, you need to be relaxed. Remember, the markets will go up and down. Okay, it goes up and down. All right. So when the market goes up, we sell. When it comes down, we buy. So it's a buy low and sell high kind of thing. So we don't need to stress. The robot buys a particular commodity, a particular asset, and it looks as if you want to dive in to force the robot to sell. Do not force the robot, just allow the robot, okay? So using Apollo, we have the Futures Classic and the Sports Classic. For today's topic, we will be talking about the Sports Classic, okay? Because already the futures, we will talk about the futures in the next class. So for the sake of the bull run, for the sake of the ETFs and all that, we're going to be dealing with the sports. So now also you want to invest, you want to use Apollo bots because it's a two-in-one robot. So what I would do is personally, this is my own personal strategy, because now we are running into a market that is so diverse with the news, with so much news around the corner. Now we need to tone it down. We need to tone it down on our futures trading. Okay. So what do? You could split it into two and use probably 30% of your funds will do futures. 70% will be on sports. Why do I say this? On a normal day, you could do a 50-50, but then we need these events to be over. There are so many events happening prior to the ETF approval. So then you need to just do 30% on the futures classic, while 70% goes on sports. Nevertheless, Apollo Bots has the best futures strategy that will never cause a mass liquidation. Never, ever cause a mass liquidation. But then we still need to trade with caution. Yeah, the robot is 100% on its own niche. All right. So then, for the sake of this class, we are talking about the sports classics. Now, the sports trading is a tool. We'll talk about running with the bulls, which is my next topic. Using Apollo Sport to run with the bulls. So what do? You have your sports classic. You tap on this. Now, a lot of coins have been added to the sports classic. So we have the upgrades keep coming every single day. There are always upgrades every single day. So if you come to Sports Classic, I'm sure we have over 90 coins. Yes, we have over 90 coins trading. So if you scroll through, you will see a lot of there are lots of coins you can find here. There are lots of them. Let me go through this again. So Sports Classic, you see them coming through. Okay, so how do you run with this? So you have some money. It's very simple. You put, of course, before this, you must have connected your exchange with your robot, because you must have connected your exchange with Apollo, which is a simple thing to do. If you're in the WhatsApp group, in the Telegram group, it's a very simple thing. We have the videos to guide you on how to connect and also how to put in the gas. Now, Apollo has the best trading commission. Okay, so it's 10% on your profits, which is the best you can get anywhere. All right, so that's that. So now, before that, we have a chart where you could always run to. We have a chart that guides you on your investments. So from your $100 to your $1 million, you have a chart that will guide you. So you want to trade sports, you want to trade futures, you can refer to this chart. Now, this chart is an automated, is for automated trading, where we use the AI DCA. So if you have this, you have $100, you could see that the $100 will go on Solana, while a $200 will do BTC Ethereum, which are the two coins. These are the kings of coins. And your $300 will go for BTC, Ethereum, and Arbitrum. Okay, so now let's take a test. Let's test it out. Now you go back to, let's go back to Apollo. Now you're doing the $100. So for example, let's pick one of these coins. Let's pick one of them. Say I pick XRP, for example, then I confirm. So what next? I want to trade. I want to trade it automatically. I want the robot to trade for me. I have some other works I'm doing. I'm kind of busy, so I put it on AIDCA. I follow the parameters on my $100. So I do. This is 20. And what does it say? Go back to the parameter. It says Of course, the initial position is 20, maximum order is 10, and quantity is 1. So it's very simple. You come back here, you do it. This is 20, maximum order says 10, put in 10 here. Then I think that's all. Once you're done with that, the next thing you do, you tap on launch, and it launches and it starts to trade. You don't need to worry your head about that. So that's the IDCA. Now, that brings me to the third topic that says we have different types of traders. We have the passive traders and we have the active traders. So if you're passive, if you're a passive trader, you just want to put your system on automatics and go to work or go to bed or go to sleep or go do some other works. So you put it on AIDCA. It means you are a passive trader. Now you want to be an active trader. You want to trade everything you see on your screen. You want to trade from the futures to the spot, AIDCA to the semi-auto system, because Apollo provides you with all the parameters. Okay, all the parameters coming from because it's a hybrid system that has the automated system and the semi-automated system. Now, you want to be active, not just passive. You want to be active. So what do? You do the AIDCA and also do the DCA. So this is what the DCA looks like. Okay. Now the DCA, that's dollar cost average. Pardon me if I've not told you the meaning of DCA. It means dollar cost average, where you trade at different levels of the market. You don't want to throw in your money all at once, okay? You don't want to throw in all your money into the market at once, especially in the bull run, okay? So I'm teaching us how do we use our funds in the bull run. You don't want to throw in all your money at once in the bull run. So you do this at different stages of the market, okay? At different levels of the market, which we call them at different margin ratios, from 5%, 10%, 20%, and all that. So you do the DCA. So now, for the active traders, you want to go with what we call the signals or your research. Why do we say it's active? You could be trading the AIDCA, but then someone from Canada or someone from London gives you a call and say, hey, mate, there is a coin called Storage, or there is a coin called the meme coin, or Acro or FTM, whatever the coin is. Hey, this coin, I have analyzed it and it's going to do 20x. What do you do on the DCA? You come in here, you tap on DCA, you choose the coin. All right. Okay, let's go back. You pick on the coin. After getting a signal on that coin, or you've researched on that coin, you tap on your Sports Classic. All right. Then you search for that coin. What's the coin? You say, okay, you got that information. Okay, this one. Okay, you got that information on, say, the meme coin. Then you tap on it. All right. What next? You confirm. So this is you trading the semi-auto system as an active trader. That's like the cryptocurrency is your first job or your major job. So the next thing you're going to do, you tap on DCA. Now, depending on the capital, you could divide your capital. You have $300. You want to stake $300 on this trade. So what do? You split your $300 because you want to use the DCA system. So what do? You could let's look at my calculator here. So let's be specific. Okay. Now you say, I want to go into this coin using $300. Then what do? I'm going to divide this into say 7 places because I want to trade with the DCA system. So divided by 7. So what do you have? You have 42.8. So I go into this trade, say I go into this trade with $40. All right. So I'm going to go into this trade 7 times, or I'm going to program it to go in 7 times because my 300 divided by 7 is 42.8. So I'm going to approximate it to $40. So what do? I come here. So I say my initial position is 40. Now, maximum order, I could say 7 because I have calculated I want to go in 7 times. Now, what's the next thing? I look at my parameters. I take on flats because I don't want to double my next order. So I use probably full TP or partial TP. Okay, I pick my partial TP, then I say single. How much am I taking on this coin? The profit taking is what? The profit taking, say, I want to take 2% or I take 2.5, depending on your analysis or the signal given. The next is my trailing stop. I leave it that way. Now my margin ratio, I want to break it down again. Now, I'm seeing from my calculation, there is a probability that this coin might go down, say, how many times? We go 10% deep because we are preparing for the bull run. So we are calculating that most coins might not go more than 20%. So using my analysis, I say this coin, let me anticipate. Let's anticipate a 15% dip. So I come back here, I anticipate a 15% dip. I do 15 probably divided by 7. All right? So can you see that 15 divided by 7 is giving me 2.14. So I say 2.1. Okay? I hope that's clear. So I say 2.1. So what do I do? On my margin ratio, I put it here, 2.1. All right? So I am done. I'm ready to go into this trade. Now let me summarize. What have we done here? Now, I am bringing in $300 into this particular trade. But then using the DCA method, I have decided to divide it into 7 maximum orders. So dividing it, I took $40. I'm going to stake $40 per order. All right. So that makes it 40 into 7 places. So I stake my 40, then I set up the rest of my parameters. I am taking 2.5% on this trade. Okay. Then my margin ratio, I have estimated, according to the analysis given to me, that this coin, peradventure, there is a nosedive in the market. It's going to go down by 15%. So what do? I go ahead to divide the 15% divided by 7 because I want to go 7 places. Okay, so that gives me 2.1%. So this is the perfect way to trade. And using this method, there is no going back. Using this method, there is no losing on your trade. Okay, so I have just intentionally gone into the market with a chunk of my money. So this is the DCA way. When I'm done, what do? I will just launch this coin. Okay, so that's the launch button there. So that's why I said you don't go into the bull run without an instrument. And the instrument I'm recommending today is the Apollo box, okay, because it can trade either ways of the market. It can trade the bulls, it can trade the bears, it can trade the futures, it can trade automatics, it can trade semi-automatics. So you can choose what you want. Do you want to be a passive trader, or you want to be an active trader, or you want to be on both sides? Okay. Also, there is room for referral, there is room for affiliates, there is room for partnership. Okay, the partnership is going to give you, it's going to put more money into your pockets. So we don't want to sleep in this bull run. We want to make money and in this 2024 bull market. So that's it on this example. Okay, I hope we are clear on this. So I've just given an illustration on how we can go into the market. So not just with the $300, whatever you have, $100, $200, whatever, you could split your money and trade with the bulls. Okay. So now how does the Apollo bot in conjunction with your exchange, how does it help? How does your Apollo in conjunction with your exchange, how does it help you? Okay, let me read this out so we understand. How Apollo and your exchange helps you to participate directly or indirectly in holding some coins. So if you notice, by the time you buy and sell, a particular coin. When you go to your exchange, you're going to see little fragments of those coins left behind. Now, I will advise you, either you leave those fragments, okay? So it's a good deal. Now, you sell your storage, you sell your meme coin, you sell your Cardano, your ADA, but then there are fractions of the coins left. So you see some coins, you have about 10 units or 15 units or 20 units, probably worth 20 cents, 10 cents, 15 cents. So this is a good deal. There are two things you can do. You could go to your exchange. If you're using the Binance exchange, you could convert those little fractions of coins left. You could convert them into BNB, all right? So you could convert them to your BNB. So in turn, when the BNB rises, you have some fragments of those things rising. So that means you have a share of BNB. Or you could leave them that way. So it helps you to spread your little money all over, okay? So when that particular coin moves in value, in your exchange, it also moves in value. So if you're using Binance, you could convert those little fractions. After your robot must have sold the main coin, there are little fractions left. So let me give you an example. It's just like after taking a cereal, probably after eating your rice, you have some fragments. Of course, you don't scrape your plates. You have those crumbs, leftovers. So those leftovers is what I'm talking about. So in your Binance, you could leave you could convert them to BNB. Then in your what's it called? Your Bybit, you could leave it in the Bybit token. Your OKX, you could leave it in. So each of your exchange, you could convert these things to their traditional token, okay? That's to that particular exchange token, or you leave them that same way, okay? So that's how you trade. So all in all, I have actually summarized the BTC Spot ETF, how we can benefit from it, using the Apollo Sports, using the Apollo Sports to run with the bulls, okay? Then different types of traders in Apollo, which is the passive traders and the active traders, okay? And also how Apollo and your exchange, that's Apollo in conjunction with your exchange, can help you participate in holding some of those coins, okay? So I will attend to your question. So the affiliate part of it, the partnership part of it, or the referral part of it, it's all the same thing. But then the knowledge base is very important. Carry your team along. So let's explain this. So using the Apollo bots, you can make yourself some good money, all right? You can make yourself some good money by sharing your links and educating your prospects on how to employ this bot to do your bid for you, right? So it's an instrument that works very, very fantastic. So you come to this mine here, the bottom part, bottom right corner of your system. You tap on mine. You're going to see your information here. So if you're not seeing your commission, if you're not seeing this commission here, you're not seeing your commission, what do you do? Of course, you contact your upline, and all you need to do is copy, tap on copy, so you can copy this, your ID. Copy your ID. Okay, this is your ID. You copy it, send it to your upline. Let him or her do the needful. Okay, send to your upline or your grand upline, so they will forward it to support, and you will be assigned a referral, like you're applying to be a partner, because Apollo Bot was actually structured to trade. It was structured just to trade. So, but then you could also make money from being a partner. So you copy this and you can be rewarded. So each time there is gas, each time your partner kind of fills in gas, you get a certain percentage of that fee, okay, depending on the size of your team. So your percentage is dependent on the size of your team. If you grow in size, you could get a commission ranging from 40% all the way to 80%. Okay, so that's just it about the referral. It's very, so the more your team grows, the more the referral commission is growing. So you just share your link, copy your link, register your downlines, your prospects, show them the wonders of Apollo. You don't know how to use Apollo, invite them to Zooms. Most of us don't invite people to Zooms. So that's how the referral, the partnership aspect of this works, okay?